Hey everybody, it's Lori. It's Friday morning, but I'm doing my top 10 list because things came up yesterday and I wasn't home, so I didn't get to use my webcam. So, Skyla came up with this list and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. A lot of mine are from the same film series, not, well, some of them are from the same movie. um, I really liked this one. I had really no problem coming up with all of my list. The topic was top 10 favorite kills in a horror movie. And I think my number one is really, really, really going to surprise everybody because I know what they think it's going to be. And it's on here. It is definitely on here, but it's not my number one. So you have to stay tuned to see my number one. And I don't know. I keep looking. Oh, crap. Looking down. And there's a glare from my screen. But anyway, it looks like I have a computer screen for eyes. Kind of like Data, whatever his name is on. No. Jordy. Dang, it's early this morning. Okay, anyway, a top 10 list of favorite kills in a movie. I have one honorable mention. I probably could think of more, but this one. Which was Franklin in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one. Because, of course, he's in a wheelchair and he just gets sliced down the middle. It's awesome. Awesome. Number 10 is from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and it's when he takes, I think her name is Jennifer, and throws her into the TV and says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." I just thought that was funny. It was so awesome. And I was young, so, you know. Number 9, and I don't have these numbered, so I'm probably going to lose count. Number 9, from Friday the 13th, Part 1, is Mrs. Voorhees, where she gets her head chopped off. And you see the hands coming up to grab her head. Which was actually Tom Savini's hands. They were awful hairy for a woman. Next, and this one's the one that Dylan said. And I'd already had it on the list. I had it in a different spot, but Dylan had to make sure it was on here because he loves this part. It's where in Jason X, they have him in a virtual reality world, and they have the two teenage girls, and he ends up shoving them down in their sleeping bags and whacking them up against a tree, killing them. Dylan just thinks that's the funniest thing in the world. Next is, why do I have that like that? I might be in trouble. Janet Leigh's character in Psycho. Of course, the famous shower scene. I don't remember her name in the movie. I should, but I don't. But yeah, that was number 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 6 from Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, is Julius. He's one of the kids who make it off of the boat into Manhattan. He prides himself on being a good fighter, boxer, and he and Jason have a fist fight up on top of a building, and finally he tells Jason after he's just spent, Julius is spent and can't hit anymore, he's so tired, says, "Take your best shot." Well, Jason takes his best shot and knocks his head off, and it rolls down and it falls into a dumpster. It's just awesome. I know I use awesome a lot. I have to think of another word. And then another one from Jason X. Oh, that other one's way up there too high. Is Adrian. She's the one who, when they bring Jason in, he's laying on the table and it's her job to unfreeze him and examine him. As she's doing something at the counter, Jason walks up behind her, grabs her by the back of the hair, and shoves her face into, I think it's liquid nitrogen, and brings her head up and it's all frozen, and he slams it on the cabinet, counter, whatever, and her face just shatters. It was so cool. Next is Jack from Friday the 13th, Part 1. Told you there's a lot of Friday the 13th. My favorite series. He's the one played by Kevin Bacon. and probably the first real big, holy crap, what just happened in the movie, where he's laying there actually smoking a cigarette or fixing to smoke, and a spear comes up through his throat. This one's kind of a joke, but it is a kill. Actually, it's a death. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen, but it's so craptastic that it had to make my list, and it should have been lower, but it's not. I don't know the characters' names. There's a guy and a girl, and it's from Piranha Double D, and they're having sex, and you see her stomach move, and you hear him scream, and all of a sudden this piranha comes out of her down there, whatever you want to call it, hoo-ha, vagina, whatever you want to call it, and chomps down on his member. There you go, his member. And there's cats running behind me. It's just so freaking hilarious. I think he even ends up chopping off his penis because the piranha is latched on and is not letting go. It's just, it's craptastic. I don't know what else to say. I had someone here with me who was cleaning my house, and she happened to walk through at that point, and she's like, "What the hell are you watching?" And then proceeded to sit down and watch the rest of the movie with me. But awful, horrible movie. Awful, awful. But that part was funny as hell. Okay, number 2 and number 1. All of y'all know I haven't said the one that you're thinking. So, that's actually my number 2. Is from Friday the 13th Part 2. Mark. He's the guy in the wheelchair who gets the machete across his face, and his chair rolls down the steps backwards in Friday the 13th Part 2. I love that scene. I mean, I really do. It's because he's in a wheelchair, and they don't feature that very often in movies. And it was the first one that I remember, other than Franklin from Texas Chainsaw. But I just really like that scene. But my number 1 is from my all-time favorite movie. And it was kind of a tie. And I should have put one of them as an honorable mention, but I didn't. But I'll tell you what the tie was. The 2. They were from my favorite movie of all time. And if y'all don't know what that is, it's Jaws. And it would either be when the shark kills Quint, and you see him chomp down, and you see the blood spit from his mouth. And that one. Or the one I have written down is at the very end when Chief Brody is shooting. You can see the cat over there. Shooting the shark at the very end, and is aiming, and here comes the shark, and it's got the scuba air tank. I can't think of what those are called. Oh, you stupid flippin' cat. Sorry. He does this all the time. Oh, shut up. Sorry. My number 1 is when Chief Brody shoots the shark and points again and says, "Smile, you son of a," and you can kind of hear him say bitch, but at the same time he's saying, "Quit licking me." When he says bitch, stop it! I'm so sorry, guys. When he finally says, okay, the cat being here is totally throwing me. When he says, "Smile, you son of a bitch," instead of hearing bitch, you mostly hear the boom of the gun hitting the air tank, scuba tank thingy. So, that was my list. Mine was not nearly as gory as James or Skyla's. Skyla, if you want to check out her video, Skyla loves gory movies, and James is Tears of the Wicker Man. So check theirs out also. I don't know if Steven's doing one or Ross is doing one, but thanks everybody. Mwah.